There was a lot of hype for this one, and it certainly delivered 6 touchdowns for Josh Allen as the Bills take down the Bucks 44-32. Welcome back to the BetCanada channel. Katie Caldwell back with Jeff Lloyd today. Jeff, this felt like a statement game from Josh Allen and the Bills. He had heard all this talk about the Patriots being the best team in the division and said, not so fast. We are still here. 6 touchdowns from him, 3 in the air, 3 on the ground. Let's start there.
It was a funny, just like the way it came together, because this is a game we had previewed earlier in the week. So obviously, we were both highly anticipating this.
Yes.
Then, there was maybe the talk Bucky Irving was going to come back for Tampa. No, 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 no. Then Buffalo comes out with a statement of Keon Coleman's not even playing. And like, how exactly was that to be taken? Obviously, there's a statement there from Buffalo. Hey, Keon Coleman, whatever it is, we need more out of you.
Yeah.
Which also, and when we did this, I kind of said to you, it gets to a point with Josh Allen where you never want to say, we don't want Josh doing everything. We don't want Josh doing everything. But wait a minute, we're now 2 games behind the Patriots.
Yep.
It's getting late in the season. You know what? The let's hold off on Josh doing everything. That one's going away for a while. Josh, do whatever you gotta do. And
Take the
if it's gotta
keys.
mean if you gotta pour the Gatorade when you get a brief second on the sidelines, do that too. Because Josh Allen just absolutely took that game over. The touchdown pass to Shavers, the roll right,
Mhm.
fire across the field. That is, I mean, it was 42-43 on the books. That's a 60 to 65-yard throw when you equate
Yeah.
in the distance going from one side of the field to the other. Him just basically, say, a lot of it has been, the weapons. Do they have enough weapons?
Mhm.
And Josh, look, it may not mean that the Bills are going to be able to tackle the AFC like they have in years past, but Josh Allen basically said, if we're going to go down, it's not going to be because I didn't give everything I had. And for the first, I would say, what, 3.5 to almost 4 quarters, it was back and forth. I believe it was 9 lead changes we got to up until
9
one
lead
point.
changes. Yep.
So just as good as, they were giving it. Baker didn't have his best day, but Sean
Mhm.
Tucker, who
Yeah.
said, "Okay, no Bucky Irving, no problem." And now Sean Tucker, there was probably some life there. Sean Tucker was a guy at Syracuse a couple of years ago, was a great, great player. I don't know what happened to his draft cycle. He never really worked out. There wasn't much from him. And then it was just a real late selection late on day 3 by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but a really good functional two-way back. You got to see all of that yesterday. A great, great game yesterday. And when Buffalo needed a few plays from their
Mhm.
defense, at least they were able to give them some.
Yeah. Oh, that was a good game. I never wanted that one to end. You touched on Keane Coleman. You're right. We did see different weapons in this one. Gabe Davis called up from the practice squad, Josh Palmer returning from injury. We also saw more of James Cook and Ty Johnson in the receiving game. Other than Josh totally taking over, what looked different about this offense today?
I think that is probably where where you're making a really strong point. Nobody, for Buffalo really ran that well yesterday. And we
Mhm.
have also had conversations where James Cook is having a phenomenal year, but you really are getting, to the point where, man, how much are we going to put on him? And then all of a
Right.
sudden, is James Cook going to be a little worn down late in the season, or God forbid in the postseason when you really, really need him? Well, a way to counteract that, let's just not have him to run through 300-pound guys. Well, come up with some clever play calling, and I felt terrible. There was a defensive end, and you just saw this guy look, and he was like, "There is no one to the left. There is no one to the right. I got
Yeah.
James Cook one-on-one." And James Cook just scooted on by, 0 issues, obviously, hit him. But this is also the thing, and so many people talk about playing the game in up and down. But when you have the athletes that are in the NFL in this day and age, you can play right to left. You can play wide. You just
Yep.
want to get your guy the ball in space. And the one to Ty Johnson, and he's always been a really interesting player too, who's never really gotten a bigger role with anybody. He was
Mhm.
doing the same thing for the Jets. He was on waivers for a few weeks. The Bills picked him up, found a spot for him instantaneously. He's produced. They have a guy like Ray Davis now. So if you can balance out that running back room, hopefully it gives you a little bit of relief that you're going to need for
Mhm.
James Cook. And that was a big one for Buffalo because look, it's getting late now where they can't really lose many games at all.
Right.
And here was a game against Tampa where really probably was anybody's game. And we said Buffalo probably needed it a little bit more. Although I still look right now at the Carolina Panthers record, it's stinking blowing my mind that they are actually a 6-5 football team. So Tampa, it's getting close for them down there. But you really saw Buffalo kind of give the effort of, we know our backs are against the wall. So
Mhm.
we're doing some different things. The defense played a little bit harder, and you got a really kind of nice effort in a game that could have went anybody's way once
Yeah.
you realize, that the offenses were kind of cooking early.
Quick pause. If you haven't subscribed to the BetCanada YouTube channel, you can do so below. It's free and it helps support our channel so we can keep bringing you NFL and NHL content. Now, back to the show. Let's take a step back actually and look at that division because I feel like we've been talking about the Bucks as the clear division winners heading into the season and all throughout the season. The Panthers got another win this Sunday. How secure is the NFC South for Tampa? Because man, the Panthers are a lot spicier than I had them coming into the season.
Well, I also think the thing though is it's going to come down to Carolina versus Tampa most likely. That's what's going to happen. I mean,
Which
Atlanta
that
looks
part
like
shocks me, though. I figured
yeah.
by that point, the Bucks would have ran away with it, that game would just be another divisional rivalry, other than not just deciding the division.
I am totally with you. Also maybe thought there was going to be, maybe a little bit more life out of Atlanta, and now you're seeing that
So
maybe
did I.
Penix is done again. And the heartbreaker for Atlanta is the first round pick that they were about to achieve in the top 10. You're basically just going to hand to the Los Angeles Rams,
Yeah.
which is probably going to have Sean McVay say, "Oh, sure, I'll stay another decade and a half. I can draft a quarterback now. Heck with TV, I can always do that in the next, my next life when I get to 60, because they'll spend another 15 years in the league or whatever." But Carolina's, just chugging along.
Mhm.
And it's weird that you're at 6-5, and there's already been a couple conversations this year where Bryce Young's not the guy. Bryce Young's doing terrible, but yet somehow he's got this Carolina Panthers team at 6-5.
Yeah.
So I think they've got a nice combination of players. As far as the wide receivers, they didn't get great production out of the running backs yesterday, but we know this is something that they can lean on. And for
Yeah.
Tampa, yeah, maybe all of a sudden now this is a situation where they have certainly dealt with their own injuries and missing a guy like Evans and missing a guy like Godwin.
Mhm.
And that's something you can overcome for maybe a short period of time. Trying to overcome great loss for a longer period of time, it's
Mm.
like you used all the bells and whistles. They didn't see this one coming. Well, you've got nothing. You don't have a full things. You don't have a full. Nobody's going to see this coming because Mike Evans isn't playing. You maybe
Yeah.
have one or two things, and you've already exasperated them. So Tampa, it's going to get interesting. And I'm not going to go there yet, but I'm still going to believe in my heart of hearts if you're telling me it's Carolina versus Tampa, mano on mano, even though Tampa's missing it a little, I would still probably, put my hand on Tampa in that situation.
I would too. Yeah, I definitely would too.
They
How
have
about the
the
Bills? How did this
the proof.
change? Oh, sorry, go
Mhm.
ahead.
I said they have the proven record.
Yeah, yeah, and they definitely do. How about the Bills? Did this change how you view them either in the AFC East or the AFC overall?
I think as much as it's changed for Buffalo this year, and we were already starting to come to grips with, this is not going to be the normal, Buffalo January, most likely.
Yeah.
It's a two game, and that was even the thing. Like everybody to get that yesterday, it did nothing for Buffalo. It just held where they were because New England had already won. So
Right.
Buffalo had to do all of that just to maintain the pace of still being two games behind the Patriots. So even still, that rematch with the Patriots, it's not going to mean that much because it's one game. Somebody's going to have to falter on New England's side. And I don't know if I see it right now because it's a team that's just really kind of doing everything well. And
Mhm.
they seem to just get a little bit better with each given week. So for Buffalo, it's definitely going to be different. And, I was thinking about it yesterday, and I was actually, I was talking to my wife, and I was like, There might not be a playoff. Like, they're not even going to get to have a playoff game to say goodbye to that stadium." The Buffalo Bills fans, most likely anything
Oh,
in January is
yeah.
going to be on the road. So, when
Right.
that time is up, it's going to be up, and there's going to be nothing extra there. But it's, the Bills team. I think yesterday did a lot for them,
Mm.
but I don't know if it necessarily is over, it's fixing or compensating from that this team is just not as good as they have been in years past.